Folks, welcome back to another Beam 42 podcast. I'm a bit stunned because Queensland just got pooned again. So Beav, over to you, mate. How did you find the game?
Found it quite entertaining. The worst Queensland team in history, other than last year. All right. Look, the class shone through, didn't it? Right. I mean, they just got smashed all round, and not just outplayed, but it just really showed up that they just don't have the depth of talent. When you look at where they got beaten in the outside backs and Turbo and Latrell compared to Gagai and Capewell, it's just a total mismatch.
Yeah. There's nothing else you can really say. I mean, the first 10 or 15 minutes that looked like Queensland were going to try and muscle up, and it looked solid. But yeah, to be honest, the New South Wales team was just better, and that's just how it rolls. It happens from time to time, and there were outs for Queensland, but there is no way that a Ponga or a Brimson or anyone else was going to make a difference in that team. It was just that. And if New South Wales wants to call that the best backline in history, then good on them, because that just means that they're getting close to a loss. But the big thing for me was the way that Queensland tried to sneak in a player that's a fringe Queensland player at best and got outed. So what's his name? Mulitalo is not a Queenslander, straight out.
Yeah, a weird set of events, isn't it, right? I mean, look, the guy's been in emerging origin squads for the last few years. He's been talked about to be a member of the team. And then when he gets selected, a week later, they then find out that he actually isn't eligible. I mean, absolute farce, right? I mean, they should have known from the very beginning, and there needs to be an investigation, and someone needs to be accountable. So, I mean, how the hell can that happen? I mean, it's just so ridiculous, right? So, but clearly by the rules, he shouldn't be playing.
Yeah. And look, it is a bit of a funny thing where the eligibility criteria is a bit weird. You've got someone like what's the Raging Bull? He was an under 19s New South Wales player, but is an adamant Queensland person. So how the hell does that work?
Well, Greg Inglis was born in Maxville. So, I mean, how did that work, right? So I'll be honest, I don't know. But, I mean, the flow chart that someone's spent a lot of time on, right?
Yeah.
Were you born in either of those states? Going through the questions, it's pretty cut and dry. He didn't qualify, right?
And that's it. There's a series of questions and he failed them, and someone just completely missed the boat in that series of Queensland.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a different question on whether those criteria are valid, right?
Yep.
But based on those current criteria, no, he shouldn't be playing, right? So
and you can't dispute that. So, and just on that vein, you've picked a team of B grade New South Wales players that you think may well have even been better than the Queensland
I
team.
think that Queensland team was so shit that they would get beaten by New South Wales B. And the criteria for New South Wales B is you have to be playing in the NRL this weekend. So there are some players who are out injured, suspended, etc. Pangai, Tyson Frizzell were not eligible for this team because they're not playing. So here we go. Guffo at fullback. Pappenhausen's injured, right? Tupou and Ronaldo Mulitalo on the wings, right? Just joking. Just joking on that one. Nice. I went with Tupou and Nofaluma on the wings. In the centres, Campbell Graham and Stephen Crichton. Halves, Cody Walker and Mitchell Moses. Forward pack of RCG, Api Coruscant hooking, and Paul Vaughan on the other prop. Back row, Josh Jackson, Ryan Madison, and Locke Dale Finucane. And then on the bench, Jack Bird, David Clemmer, Jordan McLean from the Cowboys. And in number 17, Jack de Belin.
Wow. A lot of those guys would have been picked for Queensland if they were Queenslanders. I got to be fair. I mean, the only question I've got is the Tigers winger. Is he a Kiwi or is he a New South Wales?
Yeah, good question. I haven't looked at his criteria, but to be honest, I started to get a bit scratchy on wingers. Yeah. I did think about going Josh Morris in the centres and moving Campbell Graham to a wing.
Right. So there's options, right? And let's be real, Queensland had no options. They picked the best team they could, and pretty sad. So anyway, mate, let's move on. There's a bit of news of the week, and our mate Ben Ikin is no longer the host, and they've substituted with Yvonne Sampson. What do you think of that?
I just don't like Yvonne Sampson, right? So I find her, she just loves the sound of her own voice anyway. So the option is not watch it or just close my ears when she talks. So hopefully maybe she grows on me, a bit like I think she's grown on your brother. So let's see how it goes. Jury is out for me.
No, and look, the same. I wasn't happy with the allocation, but it was so much better than picking Ray Hadley. I'll take Sampson over Ray Hadley.
Good point.
You know what? Let's give her a crack, see what happens. But
okay.
I'll be honest, I haven't watched either episode, and it's now Tuesday night, and I still haven't watched the 360 episode, and that's mostly because Ben's not on there. Anyway, so Cronulla are in a bit of strife again. A player who's probably wasn't going to get selected anyway, but he's breached COVID protocol.
Yeah, so Dukes on the drink again, right? This time drinking whiskey rather than drinking the vodka cruiser. So, but he's been caught out on the town without wearing his mask and whatever over the COVID protocols, right? So anyway, Cronulla, Newtown reserve grade this week will be without a player, right? So good luck, Dukes, for your future.
Not a big deal. And look, let's be honest, Queensland had 50,000 at Origin, knowing full well there was going to be a COVID breach, and decided they'd let that happen and wait till Monday to make the statement that got to wear masks and now we're in lockdown. Whatever. Yeah. So speaking of whatever, Kevy's backflips on his players that he tried to kick out of the club.
Yeah, well, Pangai and Lodge are required players for this year. And who knows, before the end of the year, maybe Milford will have a new contract the way the Kevy's going right now. So I don't know what's going on. It's Benny Ikin's first week, so maybe Benny said some stuff to Kevy and convinced him to change his thinking.
To me, it's just the first time Brisbane's had to scramble. That they've always been in a position where they control the conversation with people, and now they're in a position of being dictated to, and they don't know how to deal with it. So, as you said to me just previously, they may well end up with Ash Taylor next year, and that's just scraping the bottom of the barrel for someone to play. How many halves can
look, it is.
That team?
It is, unless you can redeem someone, right? If you can get someone from the scrap heap and get him in on small coin and take him back to where he was, Milford's 25, I think, right? So would you take a chance on Milford? I think I would, right? So I'd be happy to take him to the Dragons on small coin and say, all right, brother, well, let's see if you can recreate yourself, right? Reinvent yourself.
Yep, and Kevy swore black and blue that he could bring him back to his best form, and he couldn't. And this is where I just take vindication that Kevy is not a coach, and he's an emotional guy. He doesn't know the strategy of the game. He just plays on emotion, and then he gets his players up in that way. And that's great for an Origin series, but not for a 26-round NRL season.
Yeah, it's interesting because you see the difference between Kevy and Paul Green, even at the Origin level, right? So I think I would probably prefer Kevy because it's not X's and O's necessarily at that level, right? Yep. He's got Neil Henry sitting next to him who understands all that stuff, right? But to get the players up and get them to understand the emotion of playing for the state, Kevy's got that more than Greeny's got it. So
Absolutely.
anyway, I mean, like you said, the Titans have dodged a bullet there, right? So well into you guys.
I think so. So, look, I'll stop prattling on about that because let's be honest, we're only 2 points ahead of the Broncos, so it's maybe not that big of a vindication. All right, mate. Well, look, thanks for your feedback on the Origin game and a bit of news of this week, and we'll catch up and we'll talk about the upcoming round. Talk to you soon.
All right, take care. Peace out.